Knowledge and education are some of the most indispensable aspects of our society today. Most individuals learn how to write, read, count, and perform professional relationships in the classroom environment. It is important we keep classrooms effective so future generations can thrive. I myself am interested in becoming a professor. Therefore, I keep close to teachers who are my fellows in learning and teaching our fellow future educators. Most teachers would agree that smaller classroom sizes benefit the academic environment greatly. Smaller classes help the academic environment by giving pupils more one-on-one time with professors, assisting students in building stronger academic relationship, and it assists teachers in giving better individual instructions. There are a plethora of benefits for teachers, students, schools, and educators everywhere with the concept of smaller class sizes. For example, having intimate one-on-one time with your professor can be very beneficial. In large class sizes, certain students who require more attention from teachers will not receive it. There are certain students who require more attention due to mental illness or lower socioeconomic status. According to ClassSizeMatters.org, those students whose performance improves when class sizes are reduced are those who really need the help. Children from poor and minority backgrounds who experience twice the gains as the average student. Estimates are that reducing class size in the early grades shrinks the achievement gap by 38.3%. According to Robert Kennedy, the teacher often has several different achievement levels to work with. It is tricky enough to handle that in a large classroom setting, but almost impossible to not ignore when there is a smaller one. In addition, smaller classroom settings allow teachers to pay more attention to individual students due to lack of distraction. The smaller class sizes not only makes it easier to learn, but also teach. Students would have a much easier time getting the attention in the class and have less disciplinary issues due to lower class sizes. I'm thrilled to have this knowledge before I become a future educator. Having smaller classroom sizes is also beneficial in that students have more intimate academic relationships. There would be a higher chance of students learning from one another. According to Fremont College, students have a better chance to get to know classmates in smaller classes and benefit from their comments on assignments and presentations. In addition, each student's contribution is acknowledged, particularly in discussion settings. Students are able to learn from one another based on the contributions they make during class. There is more incentives for students to pay attention and become involved in a small class, because it is obvious when they don't. Since students feel more motivated to participate in a small class, they tend to get more out of it. Students are able to share their ideas and ask questions about topics they don't understand, learn from one another based on contributions they make during class. There is also a higher chance that students will get to know one another during a smaller class. A huge part of what we learn in school is how to build meaningful relationships with one another. In smaller classrooms, students have a bigger opportunity to build academic relationships. This will help them interact with coworkers and members in the community as well. I wish I had the privilege of being in a smaller class myself before I joined the workforce. The benefits seem endless. Lastly, students would benefit from smaller classrooms because teachers would be more capable of giving specific instructions. Students with learning capabilities that are different and time frames will thrive if all classrooms are smaller. According to methodschools.org, it is very important for teachers to be able to tailor instructions for students. They said in their blog, it is often that teachers have to teach the lower middle of the class. Anyone below that level has to fend for themselves, often being left behind in the shuffle, and anyone above it spends most of their class period daydreaming while they wait for everyone else to finish learning a concept they figured out 10 minutes ago. No matter which end of the extreme your students fall on, in a smaller class, teachers are more likely to tailor the students' instructions so it stays on their level. It is amazing how such a simple factor of the environment can have such a large benefit. Although some people might argue the contrary and say that smaller classroom environments have more disadvantages and other factors determine the functioning of a classroom. Some argue that lower class sizes cause students to be less independent. According to Lori Garrett Hartfield, a blogger at SeattlePie.com, students must learn independence and self-motivation because teachers have less time to work one-on-one with students. Although students must learn to be independent, it is our job as educators to make sure that different students are not left behind. Assuming that young students should always be independent takes the responsibility of our schools and educators away from them. It is what we do best. We teach. Another common argument against smaller class sizes says that people of color or lower socioeconomic backgrounds will still have the same disadvantages in a smaller classroom as they would in a bigger classroom. There have been many studies shown in which prove quite the opposite. Members of the team of Imperial Economics did a study where they researched the effect of smaller class sizes in a low-budget school. The study showed that the return to smaller classes tend to increase the achievement regardless of school poverty share. Regardless of common opinion, the facts behind smaller class sizes are marvelous. The benefits of smaller class sizes is beneficial to students and teachers. The students have more intimate academic relationships with peers and their professor, and information can be more easily tailored towards individual learning styles. That is why we need to have smaller classroom sizes regardless of cost. The future of our fellow pupils is in our hands.